thing, and that is to have all the cousins come up here and sing what we call the Matheson National Anthem.
You're not ready yet.
Oh, you're not ready?
We got to do this first.
Okay.
Okay?
Francie, we need to try it. We don't know. What? Sweet.
Shut up. Well, we mailed it to you. You didn't do your homework.
There's 90 candles on here. You can count them.
You get to eat this for lunch. The top layer is tallow.
Save that to eat out there, aren't we?
Yeah.
Please. I don't want to have to clean this carpet up.
Now we'd like to have the cousins come. All the cousins, Evan, Melvin, Shirley, Kara, and Ken, Spence, Steve,
his dad, Uncle Bill, and Uncle Ranch sitting under the big old cottonwood trees just singing their heart out. You could hear them all over the valley.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard it sung in Utah, and I've heard it sung in Duncan, and I hope we never forget that song. That's why we call it the Matheson National Anthem. But now we're going to close our program, and we're going to join the park, but I want Melvin to give us a little goodbye address here, and tell us what he's thinking about at this time.
Well, I don't want to take a lot of time, but for all of you that are young, we love your grandmas very much. And we've got a whole bunch of you here, and we've got a whole bunch of grandmas. And in each case, in each of our families, that grandma is probably the most important person in your life. She's the one that always takes care of you when you're rejected by your brothers and sisters, and maybe by some of the others in the family. But grandma always comes to the rescue, doesn't she? Well, when I grew up, these guys were talking about me getting the dirt into the stick, so to speak. But some of you have seen pictures of Van and Earl and I in Big Barrel. Now, when I was about that age, I had 3 mothers. I'd claim them all, and they probably all paddled my britches plenty too, and as well as changed them plenty. But I hated my Uncle Jim when I was little, because I was probably still too little and was peeing in my pants and a few things like that, and I couldn't go where these other 2 guys could go. So it used to just make me so mad, because they'd get to go and I'd have to stay home. When it came time to get to go hunting, Earl and Van were big enough that they could go hunting, because they could sleep in the bed without doing you know what all the younger ones all have to do. So one time when Uncle Jim and Uncle Nig went hunting, Van and Della, Van and Earl got to go. But Uncle Jim and Uncle Nig used to make these little hoopies, they used to call them. They were made out of Model T and Model A Fords, and they used to make these little beautiful little wooden racks on the back of them and sitting. And do you think they'd take me? Heck no, I had to stay behind because I was too little. But anyway, I used to hate Uncle Jim and Uncle Mac just because of that reason, that I was just too little to tag along, and they got to go. But I got to stay with Aunt Della, so that was a great thing too. But seriously, the lady here that some of my children only knew as a sick lady. She was my grandma. Nobody has ever had a sweeter grandma that loved more and took care of kids better than this grandma right here. And this grandpa taught all of us older generation how to work. He taught some of us how to be jack of all trades. That's why I'm in the position that I am. Van, he got all brains, he at least went to school and got his doctorate degree. Earl, he went on to school and got his other degree. I was the first one to go on the mission. I came home, got married, and had a couple of kids tied behind my head, behind my back, and I had to be a jack of all trades to make ends meet because I didn't finish going to school. But the thing that I wanted to bring out was, seriously, these 2 great people lived in a time when times were really hard. If you thought you've ever had it hard and were hungry, you should have been in their generation. You should have been in the generation when Mac, Jim, Kathleen, Della, and my mother grew up. When times were hard. The other cousins know all about hard times in Utah. Our bunch moved to Arizona. But during those Depression times, they refer to the old Great Depression. If it wasn't for this sweetheart Editha here, Uncle Jim, Uncle Mac would have been deprived of a lot of the things that they enjoyed. because of her industry and her ability to go to school, learned to be a school teacher, and she was one of the mainstays. Half of the town of Duncan, who lived during the time of this family, the older people, fathers and mothers and grandfathers, were all laid away in their graves by this great man. Most of their caskets were made by this great man. Grandma used to help, and other older sisters used to help decorate those caskets and all those things. Now we go to the mortuaries, we lay our dead aside in the beautiful caskets and everything. But this great grandpa made the pine boxes, and Aunt Needle, Mother, Kathleen, Grandma Mamie decorated and put the fine touch in all of those caskets that many hundreds of people in the Duncan Valley were put to rest in. Grandpa acted as a sexton. As a little boy, I learned how to go out and dig those graves. Van and Earl helped. Some of them were so hard we had to get dynamite and bust the loose to get on. But anyway, we learned how to be industrious and do things because of this great man. If you want to go out and drill a well, you know how to drill a well. If you want to build a house, put a roof on it, he taught us how to do that. Taught us how to shingle, taught us how to milk cows, taught us how to do the simple things that were important in life. But one of the greatest things that I can remember that they taught love. And even though the family may not have had all the money in the world, we had love one for another. And I'm so thankful for them. Look what they started. From one side of the family or another, look what we are today, and we still don't have all of them here. But I'm so grateful for whoever the missionaries were that went to Scotland and made it possible that our ancestors hear the gospel. Because through them, I have something that I cherish so very, very dear, and that is a knowledge that God lives and that Jesus is the Christ. And regardless of what I want in life, it doesn't make a bit of difference. Heavenly Father has set the plan and told us what it is. If we desire to be partakers of what He has to offer, we have to obey His law. We can't be selfish. We can't say, I want to do what I want to do, or I don't want to do this. It doesn't make any difference if we want what He has to offer. Now, we have all of these families, and we're descendants of all of these 5 been here today. And we have a tendency, because of our numbers, to just mingle with our own individual families. Now, I've had a great fun in being able to get to know Stacy better. Because up to this time, we haven't been able to associate as cousins like we should have. Now, Earl and Van and I, and the older ones, we knew each other so well. But we do not know all of you beautiful young brothers and sisters and cousins of all of your children. So the rest of the day, forget the rest of your family that you've known all of your life and that you've done everything for the last 20 years. Get to know some of the rest of us. My children, please mingle with Earl's